Hello, welcome to Educators with Oil. I am your hostess, Ronette Branham, here to offer biblical strategies for effective teaching. Thank you for joining, and I am so excited to offer value to your lives. As teachers, we need some added value. We need it. We need added value. We need to know that there is someone here who has something that we need or something that we can share with or collaborate with, because being a teacher sometimes in the classroom it feels like you're kind of alone because you're the only one in the classroom with your students. So today I just want to talk about that prep time. Sometimes prep time can seem chaotic. It can seem like you don't have enough time to do what you want to do. Sometimes you feel like I have all this stuff to do within this 40-minute time frame. We have to make time to go to the bathroom. We have to make time to make copies, maybe to collaborate with our co-teachers if we have a co-teacher or a teacher from our grade. There's a lot. Sometimes you have to make appointments and you have to, handle some personal things. What do we do in order, to make that time work? We have to set out with a plan. Things work more if we have a plan. If we just don't wing it every day, like, okay, here comes the morning of work. Oh my God, I have to make copies. I don't know about you, but I have gone into the teacher's room and had to make copies early in the morning. There's a line of teachers. Has that happened to you? I know it's happened to me several times. Even today, I was making copies, and then there were people behind me waiting. They were like, I ran into the bathroom when my stuff was copying, and I hear people saying, "Is that yours? Is this yours? It's almost done." And no, it's going to be done in a minute. I had to make 51 copies. So, and they were double sided. So I just had to get it done. Sometimes you go during a break. About maybe a month ago, I had a test for my students. I knew a week ago that I had to test my students. I knew that. I knew that testing the end of the unit was coming up and I needed to test my students. So did I plan ahead and make the copies? I didn't do that. I waited till the day of the test. I got ready to make a copy. Not even that. It was on my prep time. While my students were in their special. During my prep time, I said, okay, let me make copies real quick because they have a math test. Right after this, I have to get them ready. Why did I do that? Because I hadn't been in the copy in the making copies in a minute. And so I went in there, copy machines, no toner. I ran to the other teacher's room, copy machine, no toner. Then I'm like, oh my goodness. So I ran to the office, see if I could make copies. I went in there, there was somebody there because both copy machines were down. So I had to wait. Then I just made it in time to pick up my students. So we could avoid things like that. We could avoid things like that. Or how about you have to make an appointment for something and then you call and you're going to be on hold sitting. I have been on hold for a while, waiting for someone to answer. And it was like time. I had to go and I had to hang up. So things like that. So things like that, we have to understand how to handle situations and how to make our prep time work for us. We could. I know I had. I know there's something. Let me see real fast, because I had my notes and all that stuff for us. Where is it? So we have. Okay, let me go back to that. We have unrealistic expectations, where we think we could do so much in little 40 minutes, or we have unexpected interruptions, like we see somebody or somebody sees us and then they want to collaborate. Or it's funny because I said, as I was preparing for this right today, as I was preparing, I saw that interruption. So then I thought about me. I sometimes walk around doing my prep because I have something to say to somebody or ask questions or collaborate. So I went to my it's like a co-teacher, but we're in different classrooms. We have the same students and we switch our students. But I say that all the time. But we have a co-teacher. So I went to her and I was laughing. I was saying, as I was preparing, talking about interrupting people on their prep, here I am coming to interrupt you because I don't know what she has to do. She's sitting in her classroom doing whatever she's doing. And here I come. She might have a plan for her 40 minutes, but here I come. And so then I use that time to collaborate a little bit and to say that and to ask questions. And we touched on a few things. And so that's just funny because I was just preparing for that. And then we have competing demands, things that need to be done, right then, right now. Like we have grades to do, we have planning, copying, personal needs, same thing all over. We have to do that. But I have a few suggestions, I have a few strategies, things that can be done, instead of us suffering through our prep time unprepared, ill prepared, trying to get everything done in one day. One thing is if we plan ahead. I don't know if you have any insight about prep time planning or anything having to do with prep time, using that time wisely. You can send in a note, a comment, and then we'll read it. So one thing is planning ahead. So if we actually have to have our lesson plans a week in advance. So for us to say we didn't have time to plan, you knew last week what you're going to teach this week, right? We know that. That's not anything new. It's not something that just comes upon us without our knowledge. We didn't know this was going to happen. But we already know what we're going to teach the next week. So I try to do my lesson plans like by Friday. I rarely get there, but just say by Sunday, we're supposed to have them in by Sunday at 5:00, right? So that means working on the weekend. So I'd rather not do that. I would rather use my prep time to do that. I just have to get in the mode of doing that. So when you're making your lesson plans, you know what you're going to teach all week. The only way you don't know is if you didn't do your lesson plans, right? The only way you don't know what you're going to need, what you're going to do. Okay, so I'm Sunday. So I know when I do 5 lessons in math, 5 more lessons in this topic or this unit, that by Monday or Tuesday, it's going to be time to test. It's going to be time for an assessment. So that means when I do my lesson plans, that Monday, anytime during the week, I can plan which day I'm going to make my copies for my test, unless it's an online test. I know I can assign that test online and don't release it until that day, because that's how things work in the math program that we use. I could assign a test and don't release it until whatever day I want to release it. I think I could even add a time if I wanted to add a time. So that is a great strategy right there, using technology, as a resource. So we won't have to make copies. Students could take a test online, because my students can take the test online. Only problem with that is I have second graders and they tend to click without reading. So I would rather give it to them on paper. I can see what they do, then they can figure it out. Students in second grade, they will rather write it than click, because then they're not going to write it on the paper. They're not going to figure. They're just going to click. That's the answer. So I would rather print the paper. So if I know next Monday, next Tuesday, we have a test, right? We have a test. Let me make copies. Plan Monday or Tuesday to make copies for next Monday or Tuesday, whichever day the test is going to come, right? And another thing I could do, instead of grading papers, so if you give your test online, a lot of times the system will grade it for you. So then that saves prep time too. You just have the grades and then you go copy those grades down, right? You don't have to grade the exams, right? So another thing we have quizzes, and I give my quizzes online with our math so that I don't have to give them an exit exam. Our quizzes is an exit exam. It's called a quick check. It has 5 questions. I don't have to give them an exit exam, and I have to look at the exit exam and I have to grade it. And then no, I don't want to do that. The students come to me immediately. I got 5 right. I got 4 right. Oh, I only got 3 right. Only got 2 right. I didn't understand it. I only got 1, or I got none right. So it's right there, right in our face. So that saves prep time. I don't have to do that during my prep. Another thing that I do, the classwork. I don't feel like I grading papers. I just don't like doing it. I'm sorry. I do it for a test because I want to know what they did and what they did. And during the day, during the class work time, I'm walking around seeing, or they come to me and they show me if they got it, whatever. But every day they have work that they practice called practice. So what I do is I open my grade book and I tell them to get a colored pencil. Get a colored pencil. Don't go to my grade book with your regular pencil. Go to the grade book with your colored pencil and you check your work. And they're like, I got all this right. And then every now and then you'll get somebody coming over there with their pencil and they're checking their work and then changing the answers. I have a quick story for that. That is so funny. I don't know if I said it already, but I had a student. We had word problems, just word problems. And for the word problems, the student didn't speak English. Not to mention he didn't speak English, and on top of that, he couldn't really read. He reads like kindergarten level, so you can't read, right? The word problems, which are second grade, and I don't even think it's beginning second grade level. Not quite sure. So he came back with answers, and I said, "How did you get it?" It was a 2-part word problem, right? How did you get this answer? And he said, "I did it." I said, "Who helped you?" "Nobody. I did it." So I couldn't figure out who helped you with this. And nobody helped them. But I have my grade book open for them to grade their tests. And then I see this is what he did that I don't know how I found out. But he went to the grade book and got the answer because he didn't have the equation written out. He didn't have any of that. And it makes sense for him to have the answer. So I have to watch that, make sure they don't go there with their regular pencil. They go there, but that saves time. They check in, they know if they did well, they know if they didn't understand it, they understand all of that. That saves time. I know we want to save time. We want to save time all the time. Why do we want to make things harder for us? I don't want to make things harder for me. I just don't want to do it. So again, let's have a prep time checklist. You could have that is to have 4 things or whatever it is for the week. What am I going to do this week during my prep? Because I have all this work that I need to do. We're working on a science project. Make sure I have the soil that I need or whatever that I need. Okay, we're doing a social studies project. Make sure I have the chart paper. Make sure I have the crayons and everything where the students can get them. Math manipulative. Make sure all during the week, during my prep, I gathered the material so when we get to it, I have it. Have a little checklist. I did this, I did that. Check off that list. I put my manipulatives over there. I put them in little baggies for individual students. Do that I know we do it. I know it's easy for us to, wait till the last minute. Why do we do that? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. The only thing I think of is planning. I know there's a scripture talking about the ants be like the ant, how they diligently plan for, the season. There's a movie that we watched. I don't know if it's called Ants or Bugs or something, where they were planning for the season. And then they had to store up food for somebody else who was taking their food or something. But they planned. So that we can do that. We can plan. And then group similar projects together. Like if I know I need to make copies for this subject, that subject, and that subject. Sometimes people they take up the copying machine. Do it on your prep when there's not that many people instead of early in the morning, because early in the morning tends to be more people at the copy machines, right? So do it on your prep. Maybe not that many people have the same prep time. So plan. I'm going to make these copies for this, this, and this, right? Get it out of the way. But don't let it be the last minute, because then you could have a paper jam. Then what are you going to do? You could have a down printer. Then what are you going to do? So let's try to plan ahead. If we could do it a week ahead, at least the day before, right? At least the day before. And then sometimes you might need to set time That's a good thing. I just messed that up. So you want to reflect on the time. So you set time. You plan. I just messed that up. Well, so I have all these plans. I have to make this, do this, do this. So during that time, right, you're going to allocate time. Allocate time to use the restroom. Allocate time for a quick call to whoever you need to make a quick call to, right? You have 40 minutes a day, right? Set time for a break. Maybe you want to stretch during that time. Maybe you want to do a little, jot down a little devotional or something like that, a quick prayer. I know I have to get back into, I was doing this squat challenge. So I know I want to have time during that time to do some squats or something or some stretching. Do that during that time, right? So try to plan out, allocate your time during your prep, not only your day preps, like Monday I'll do this and Tuesday I'll do that. Thursday I'll put in maybe grades in the grade book. Friday maybe I will grade some tests. Monday I'll make copies for the week. Things like that, right? And then think about the interruptions that happen. An emergency phone call. Somebody comes and asking you for help when you know I'm doing something that I need that's important to me for my class. And then somebody interrupts you, like I probably do a lot. I interrupt people. I just do. I go and I talk. I talk. So going to people, have a way, something that you're going to say as what's going to happen. What am I going to do when somebody comes and I'm trying to plan? So you could say to them, look, I'm grading this. I'm going to listen to you. At the same time, I'm grading this. I'm not going to be able to stop and talk to you. So if it's really something that needs my full attention, can you come back and maybe I see you at my lunchtime? I don't know, maybe if it's your friend or something, see you at my lunchtime. If the interrupting phone call, then allocate time during your prep and say, I'll leave 10 minutes. I won't jam pack my 40 minutes. I'll leave 10 minutes for something, an emergency that might come up. Somebody can call you, somebody can actually call you during your time. So make sure you have that built-in time. You know how they say they build in snow days if you live in the north, they build in snow days to your year schedule, right? So build in some 10 minutes. If you can spare 10 minutes, build in some time that if something comes up, you can stop and you can do that, right? If you get a jam copy, you got to go to the other copy machine. So that's something that I would do. And then also what helps, this is what I did. I cleaned off my desk. Between yesterday, today, and Friday. I had copies and things, and they were like set, so I know what they were, and I'll lift this up and I lift that up, and I will find what I copied. So today I cleaned off my desk, and I have a file cabinet. How about I have a whole file cabinet? I put the papers in the file cabinet. I put my copies in. I have things for phonics for my students. I have things for math, reading logs. I put them in my file cabinet. Like, why do you have all these papers on your desk? I don't say that my desk so it feels like that's just storage. I didn't like the storage on my desk. So I refiled so that when I need these copies, I go in there and pull them out. When I need these tests, when I need these reading logs, I just go to it and pull it out. When I have this phonics work in my desk, I go in there and pull it out. So I did make sure I organized things like that today, and between Friday and today. So make sure we are more efficient. We want to be good stewards. I put that on there. We want to steward our time wisely. The Bible says, commit your works to the Lord and your plans will be established. So we have to think about the time that we have and how we're going to allocate that time. How are we going to use that time wisely? We can't just wing it all the time. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you're tired. You just want to relax. Put that in the prep. Today is my prep. I'm going to just put my head down because I know what it's like to have so much on your plate and you really don't have time. You're just always constantly going. So even allocate time for rest. How could we be better than God when we don't need rest? You know, we need to rest. And again, I put that on the bottom, instead of planning the day of, plan prior, because you know what you're gonna do all week. We already know that. And unless you don't unless you don't do your lesson plans. So oh yeah, I like that. Let me see if I could show that. So yeah, I like that. So you use your phone and your calendars as a tool to keep track. So yeah, so you could quickly scan your monthly calendar. So put on timers. Oh, that's what I do too. I put on timers. I don't put on timers for my prep time. I never did that. That's a good idea, especially when you're allocating time during your prep time. So you could do that. That's a good idea. So during my day, my regular school day, at the beginning, I have a timer for phonics, when phonics starts, when literacy, the rest of literacy starts, reading, when we have time for us to go to the rug, go to large group after phonics, when it's time for writing. I have timers for everything, timers for our preps, our specials, timers for lunch, timers for everything during the day. I have timers, but I don't have a timer for my prep. That is something like, why don't we have that? Why don't I have that? That's a good idea, especially if I know today I need to do 4 things. I need to do 4 things or 3 things. Let me time it. Let me time it out. That, I think I like that. And another thing, like I said, I'm that person. So this is for whoever's watching that I bother. Whoever's watching that I bother, right? Go and you have to set boundaries with grace. You set boundaries with grace. You could say, you can have a sign on your door. I need 10 minutes. This is the time that I need to relax, or I need to knock this work out, right? Have a sign on your door, maybe. Or if somebody comes, say, I can't help you right now, but can I help you a little bit later, right? We know how to talk to our coworkers, our peers, our friends, whoever, whatever you call your the people you work with. That some people, I say something, they're like, nah, it's okay. Yeah. But as I was planning for this, I'm like, no, sometimes maybe it's not okay. Maybe I have to make a phone call. Maybe I have to do things, right? Maybe I need a break. If God can rest on the 7th day, we can rest. Like, we're not greater than him, right? Also, how about, today or tomorrow, I need to collaborate with my co-teacher, my partner teacher, somebody on my grade level, get together with them, right? Get together with them, and then you can say, if I do the math lessons, can you do the literacy? Next week I'll flip it. Because sometimes, I know I didn't like sharing lesson plans, because it felt like I would choose the hard one trying to be nice, and then the other person might have something easy, or vice versa. So you can collaborate with your partner, and you can say, this week I'll do this, next week you do this. Or you collaborate, like today I had to talk about some students in my class. How are you doing? How are you working with these students? We have students who are performing well below grade level, right? I don't know. We all do. I'm looking at people. I'm looking at people all over the country who are talking about their students' performance, and I don't understand it. I'm trying to figure that out, right? I'm trying to figure it out. And so we had to talk about, well, what do you do with these students? What do you do with these students who are so below? I know when you get to small group, that's what we do. But at the same time, it's not even something in 2nd grade that you're enriching, that you're, doing intervention to just bring them up a little bit. We are I'm telling you, second grade is teaching letters and sounds. So I don't know what's happening in the United States, but we are doing real, we're doing a whole other grade during our small group. So what I had to collaborate and talk and share and get insight from another teacher and say, well, what are you doing? How is your small group working? And what are the students doing? And we had to discuss that. And it's crazy to me. It seems weird that we are talking about how you're teaching your students letters. Now, small groups should be, let's get together and let's practice writing paragraphs, writing, if for telling about a story that we read that's nonfiction, giving 3 facts, right? And then talking about those 3 facts, or writing about fiction, the who, what, when, where, why, how. We can't even get to that because we need to teach letters. So we gotta collaborate. Let's get this. Let's knock this out. How are we gonna do this? And oh yeah. So yeah, using 5 minutes of your prep time to make or review a grateful list. Yeah, you know how that works. That man, that works so great. That helps us with our mindset. And when we have a grateful time, that's what I was just I call this one guy my coach. He's not, I don't even know him. I've been in a few I don't know what you call them, a few sessions with him, we'll say, where he was the speaker, and he's talking about today about living up to your purpose. And part of that is being grateful for what you have. You have a lot of things going on, but are you grateful um for what you have? So take out that 5 minutes for that. Take out 5 minutes every day or every other day, or whatever, to be grateful for what you have, and focus on the positive instead of always coming to each other with a problem, right? And so I think I'm loving this, Irene. You need to be on here. I need to send you the link because I was serious. Yeah. Oh yeah. And so with our like I said, I collaborate with my partner teacher, and um so we could talk about the different students and what students are strong in what area. And so we both know we could get together and collaborate and say, well, this little girl, little boy, Jimmy or Johnny or whoever, she really understands this math concept, right? So see if while you're working in this small group, maybe she could be sitting with somebody else, peer. So during your prep, you can talk about that. That's something we can talk about and understand and get some understanding of our students. That's one thing that's good about having a co-teacher. I don't know. There's a lot good about having a co-teacher, but that's one thing good about having a co-teacher. Sometimes we have co-teachers and we really don't really want to work together. We really want to do our own thing, but I know that 2 heads are better than one. We talk about something with our students about that synergy. When we were talking about SEL, social emotional learning, right? Talking about social emotional learning, we were talking about synergy, how we work together and how we're better, and how what synergy means. So that is something that we can do, right? We just gotta. Irene, you're saying yes. You want me to send you the link? Oh, serious, right? So getting that, working together with our partners is better because we get more insight, we get more knowledge, we get stronger just by working together and collaborating. That's yeah, next time, Ari. So that's just something. So we're gonna go on because we had to set those boundaries with grace. We have to collaborate during our time. Collaborate wisely. Wisely. And when I say collaborate, because teachers could talk. We like to talk. You don't have to tell us twice. You don't have to ask us anything twice. That's gonna take us Just say you ask about I'm trying to think, math with a student and how they're doing. We will end up the conversation talking about our math when we were a kid. Like we will go off on a tangent and keep on going. So make sure when you're collaborating wisely, or again, build in that extra time for nonsense talk or off the topic talk. Let's say it like that. For off the topic talk. Build time in for that. Like we act like sometimes we have to be so on it. Sometimes you need to relax that brain. Use that too in your prep. I would build in, because I do it. I don't know about you. I build in time. This day I'm doing nothing during my prep. I'm sitting back relaxing. I might be writing. I might be working on the podcast. I could be doing anything because besides work. And I don't know. I really don't know what we're supposed to do during our prep. Are we really supposed to be prepping? Like I used to tell people before. I said, you know what I had to do during my prep? I had to actually do prep. I had to prep for my class. I actually had to prepare. That was like weird to me. I'm not using my prep time for that. But now I am, because I have 2 classes. I really have to work. But sometimes you want to just relax. You just want to relax. And that's what I think sometimes you need to do. Relax during your prep. That's that. You could agree or disagree, but sometimes you don't want to work during your prep. Sometimes you need to relax. You need to relax your brain, decompose, decompress, right? So collaborate wisely. Rotate responsibilities with your partner if you can, because you may not have a partner. You may have a great level partner or something like that. Sometimes people are way off from each other, but when you're working on the same thing, man, that will work. So what are you doing for science? We had to have this. Oh man, I forgot to prepare the soil. I forgot to get the seeds out. I forgot to, prepare the slides or whatever. And another teacher said, oh, I did that. And then they might shoot you the slides. They might shoot you the information. We were working on social studies. We sat down and we talked about it, other teachers. And I was like, I can't find that information. Where are you finding it? Right? And so one of the teachers said, I have it. I printed it. So she took it out. She told me where to find the information. And then she printed it. She sent it to me in an email. So collaboration, I don't know about you, but we need to collaborate and stop trying to be lone wolves, because it's better to collaborate. It's better. 2 heads are better than one. I know. I read a scripture. I said it before about a threefold cord is stronger, and and when you're working together, it's one person can fall by themselves, but when you're 3 of you, then you're less likely to fall because you got each other. You have each other. You have each other's back. But I did this. How about you do that? Or don't forget this. But if you're walking around alone all the time, sometimes it's not great. It's not a good thing. Because sometimes we like to be alone. We do like to be alone sometimes, but all the time being alone, that's not good. God didn't create us like that. He created us to commune with people. I don't know how I got that, but yeah, that's true. Right? So use that collaboration time to divvy up the task. And I have another. This is another thing. Let me take this off. Where so that's what I said already. So this is what I did. Like I said, I used the time to clean off my desk, and I put the things in a file cabinet. So put all these copies in a file cabinet. Guess what? That saves me time for my prep. When I get ready, it's time for math, it's time for literacy, and I have to have like a storyboard or something. I know where to find it. I'm not digging over my desk and flipping up papers and saying, oh, man, it's not in this stack, it's in that stack. So that's going to save you time. So what I still need to do is maybe put the words on the tabs, add the tabs. I don't have tabs yet. I have tabs, but I didn't write on the tabs. So on the tabs, write what you're going to do. Write what's in those files, right? In those file folders. Okay, so this is the initial sounds folders. This is the CVC word papers, that kind of stuff. So that's what we need to do. That's what we just need to do. And right, Irene, it is over. Things can be overwhelming. Teaching can be overwhelming. Being in the classroom by yourself all the time can be overwhelming. You have students, and the students are students, right? Some people have bigger students, and students are students, and you're in charge, and you're just like, oh, come on. I'm talking to my students, and I'm asking them questions. They're looking at me. It's just crickets. They're looking, or they decide to talk. And then I'm sitting in there, and I have to still perform, because this is performance. I don't know if you perform in your classroom, but this is performance. You have to perform every day, every single day. So being alone, so collaboration, man, it's better than being overwhelmed. I tell you. And we can share work. And then we can say, are you going to doing that? No, maybe I won't. If you're not doing it today, maybe I could cut off that. Right? So, and then encourage each other. Now, I gave you some examples, like my example of when somebody's coming to you, want to talk. Because I can say that, but I do. I like to talk. You can tell I like to talk. That's how I just do. And so this is what happens when we're talking and doing our prep. So just, make sure that we are in tune, that we understand the room. You know how people say read the room? If you go and somebody is talking on the phone, okay, I'll come back and talk to you later. I'll ask you this question later. I'll shoot you an email. I'll shoot you a text, right? So just know that. Also, let me see. Another thing. Did I put that up there? So if you have, this is something. If you have I put it in the comments. If you have a prep time story or a tip that you might want to share with us, with the community, you can go put it in the comments, or you can go over to Educators with Oil on Facebook, to that page, or I have a community. It's a Facebook group, and it's called Empowered Educators with Ronette Branham. If you have a tip, you can go over there and join us, and then give tips and life hacks or whatever you have, right? That you might want to share, or so we can get ideas and we could learn from people, right? So do that. And so let's uplift and inspire each other that way. That's something that I like to do. Don't forget to share with other people. Because we all know teachers. At my church alone, I don't know, we feel, when they pray at the beginning of the year for the teachers, we fill up the whole stage. Teachers, educators, principals. We have so many principals in our church. It's amazing. So that's something that we can do. Share this, and that way we could build our community, build it up, and go to, again, I know this is Facebook Live. I usually go to YouTube. This is YouTube Live. I usually go to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Today, I just wanted to try to stream everything into Facebook, so I just added the links to those places, because I know we're used to being there. I don't know how that works. We're going to see. But again, let's recap one more time. Make a to-do list of what you're going to do during the week for prep time. Set a schedule for your prep time, right? This day, I'm going to do this day, and then maybe allocate time within that 40 minutes. Do not think you're going to get a whole day's work in 40 minutes. Don't even fool yourself. Don't even set yourself up for failure saying, I'm going to do 6 hours worth of work in 40 minutes, because it's not going to happen. So say what you're going to do and allocate time. Make sure you put in time to use the bathroom. Put in times if you need to do a little journaling or something like that. Put it in there. Don't act like you can do it all. Please don't act like you can do it all, because you can't. You can do it all, but you can't do it all in one day. How about you plan in advance? How about you collaborate? How about you plan a collaboration time during your prep? How about you could plan time for personal things, plan time for stretching, for relaxing, for prayer, for journaling, all that time. How about you schedule time for when you're going to use the copier? Find out the times that are less busy, the days that are less busy. I know older grades, they test on Fridays. I don't know how that happens, but they do. They just work during the week and they say on Friday we're having a test. I know if you use spelling words or something, you give the spelling words on Monday and then you test on Friday. So you know when you need to make these copies, right? If you going to organize your work that you have all piled up on your desk, um, how about you organizing in file folders, put color code tabs or put the words on the tabs? Understand that you have to plan and you have to organize and it'll work better. You don't have to do anything. I don't know why I said have to. It's better, it's more beneficial. You will enjoy your life better if you're organized, right? Also, remember, how about you treat your prep time as part of your ministry? We said this is our calling, right? It's not just about organizing lessons, it's about sowing seeds into the hearts and minds of your students. I had to write that because sometimes we forget what our purpose is, right? So our purpose is to sow into the lives of our students, create lifelong learners. That's what we want. So that's something that we have to remember. Once we remember that, and then add that gratefulness to it. I'm grateful that I can help these students, right? I'm grateful that I'm here for my students. I'm grateful that I'm able to give to them what they need, right? I'm grateful that I'm able to provide their basic needs and then their needs of belonging, all of that at the same time while I'm teaching the students. Another thing, let me see. Don't forget, I know I keep saying that, but do not forget to take a break. Use that time. Sometimes you need a whole 40 minutes. Sometimes you need 40 minutes and your lunch, right? Take that time to take a break. Breathe. Like Irene said, take a breath. Breathe. Do what it is. Collaborate. We got all these things. Use students. Use students to help you out. So plan that in your prep. Our prep time is so tight sometimes. So we want to make sure we have everything done in our prep in reasonable time in advance. My favorite comment today was that grateful list. That's going to help us. That's going to take us a long, long way. Being grateful, and let's not say. I know people. We want to be selfish. We want to say, "I'm grateful that I have this" or whatever. Let's be grateful for our gift that we can give to our students. If you think about what you're giving more than what you're getting or more than what you want, I promise you'll be more fulfilled in your life than being grateful for the things you have. That's just something that I know. I can't prove it. Probably can prove it if you try it every day, and then you'll see how much better you feel. Make sure you steward your time wisely. I have come to the end. I have come to the end of this session, and I had so much fun, really, because I'm talking to myself and I'm talking to you. I'm sharing with you, and I'm helping myself at the same time about being mindful of other people's time when I intrude on their prep time, right? I do it. That's just, I do it. So think about that. Think about how we feel, and also remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you're just popping in, please share, please subscribe. You don't, if you are not a teacher and you're in because you're supporting, a teacher somewhere, share these episodes with the teachers. Share this YouTube with another teacher. And go to also go to our Facebook community, Empowered Educators with Ronette Brown, if you remember that name, and or Educators with Oil with Ronette Brown. Same thing on Facebook. That's a page, and one is a private group. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the tips that came through, and because they are valuable, and that's what's so exciting about coming here, that we all add value. We all been teaching, most been teaching for a long time, and we can always add value to somebody else. And I love that. I love adding value. I love people adding value to me. We all don't always want to be takers, but we want to give. So again, this is Educators with Oil podcast. I am your hostess, Ronette Bradham, here to offer biblical strategies for effective teaching. I want to see you next week for an exciting topic. And again, we have some guests coming up soon, so I look forward to those guests. Thank you again, and have a great day.